Good morning and hello. Hope you're going well this week. So it's hump day. On to Wednesday. What do we have in the way of news? We've got some more news today. A bit of Aussie, some big Kiwi news, and some big dollar news later on. So keep an eye on the news. It's having a big effect on the markets at the moment. Any little bit of news, and it seems to be pretty volatile. Okay, so what do we have today? I've got a few things. Nothing really that exciting, to be honest, but we'll go through what I do have. It's always good to keep an eye on the markets. You never know what's going to turn up. We only need one good trade a day, and we're laughing. Okay, so let's get into my watch list. Aussie Kiwi. Doesn't look very good on the daily, nothing special. It's kind of trundling upwards, stepping its way up. And we're working through this level here, which is pretty significant. It's touching here, very major level here. Rejects it here, and doji on it here. So quite a major level, right? So maybe it's now broken above it. Maybe it's going to come back and retest it after yesterday's downward biased candle. Now we don't have much here on the hourly. That is exact. There's a few possibles going on. So I'm not really that keen on it, but I'm going to show you what I'm seeing because it's quite interesting. First thing I can see is an ACB forming, potentially. We've got a wedge. This forming is quite a nice looking wedge at the moment. And the wedge, we need it to come down to the 4-hour 50 for an ACB and reject that, and then trade it long to the highs. So that's one possible. Another possible is that if we are going to come down and retest this level, I'll just copy it across. And we can see it's here, but we can probably refine it now on the hourly chart down to about here somewhere. Maybe this is the level here. So maybe it's going to come down this far and test this before going long. And the third thing I also want to consider is an IBO short. But for that, we need it to come down and produce a lower low before putting back to the 1-hour 50. So we've still got a downtrend intact, which means it needs to come down to about where the 4-hour 50 is, and around here, pull back to the 382 where the 1-hour 50 is, and trade it short like this, down to this level. So a bit of a mixed thing. I'm not really keen on any of them, to be honest, but there's a few talking points in there. I thought I'd just show you that. Let's get into some real stuff. Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, we're breaking down below this daily 50. Quite strongly yesterday with a bit of dollar strength. Breaking below the daily 50, so maybe that's going to continue short. We've got a wave 1, 2, and this could be wave 3. A little bit of noise around the daily 50, which is not surprising. Maybe we're going short here. On the hourly chart, we can see we've got a nice retest of the 4-hour 50, breaking through the 1-hour, the daily 50, this green line. 4-hour 50 is the blue line. Rejection of that, breaking through the 1-hour 50, retested it, kind of gave us an IBO, but that looks like a news event. It's probably on the was any news yesterday? Yeah, some bit of dollar news yesterday. Maybe that's what it was. But just spike up. Not a really good candle to enter the trade on, because if you enter after this big bullish 1-hour candle, you'd expect it to be going further long, and in fact it reversed straight away. So it's probably a news event of some kind. Not a great entry. It's kind of messed up the IBO, but we do have a pip snatcher on. So there's quite a few pip snatchers on today. Remember, with pip snatchers, we need the 1-hour 50 to line up with daily pivot, which is lining up quite nicely here. So if that pulls back in the next 2 or 3 hours, that could be a good little pip snatcher short. Also consider any pip snatcher can be a hyper trade. Got the potential for 4-to-1 profit. Then we can have a hyper trade. And of course, we do have that potential, but we're trading down to new lows. trading down below this low. And if this is a wave 3, which we just discussed, wave 1 would be down to here, back to here. Wave 3 will take us down to, potentially down to here, 666, basically, which is quite a way down, right down here somewhere. There's plenty of room for a hyper trade. If that's your thing, trade it as you normally trade with your trade management for hyper trade. It's quite good in that we have the daily 50 here, not the 4-hour 50 unfortunately, but the daily 50 is right behind us before the stop, and it's quite a tight stop, which is good because then we can get a nice big profit target. So Aussie dollar looks quite nice for a short trade. Let's go to Euro CAD. Oh, this looks a bit yucky, doesn't it? I'm not sure why I highlighted this one. We've broken up from this support level, which was touched there and bounced off there, through the daily 50. We've hit the daily 20, come back, retest the daily 50, and we're looking to go bullish today. So that's a bit noisy, looks a bit funny, but when you look at where the MAs line up, we can see it's breaking through the daily 50, bounced off the daily 20, back through to the daily 50, and now we're going long again. So potentially we could be on for a long trade. What does the hourly chart give us? We have a test of daily 50 we just saw, breaking through the 1-hour 50 and the 4-hour 50, and coming back through a pip snatcher. You might even be able to get a CBO out of this. I always prefer CBOs to pip snatchers because you just tend to have a tighter stop and a you know, you have more control over the profit target. Let the profit target run, let the profit run a bit. So if you're behind the 618, 4-hour 50 is going to be here, 1-hour 50 catching up to the 382. That's good. Maybe that's better than a pip snatcher in this case. 4-hour 50 is a bit closer to the 618. You want to give it just a little bit more room in case it wicks through it or something. But that looks okay. Go up to there. And then where do you push it to? Well, this looks like a wave 1 after a daily 50 retest. So we can put it on here. Yeah, fib extension, pulls back to here somewhere. Then we could be potentially targeting, so that's quite aggressive, nearly 3.5%, which is nice, but a bit aggressive. The safe option would be right behind the R1 of the daily pivots. You see the daily pivots line up pretty well with their entry. That's the 1.8%, or more aggressively up there. So there's some options on there. That's quite nice. Euro pound. So the pound had some good news yesterday in financial terms, and therefore we got a big rally from the pound. Euro pound therefore went short. We've just gone through the daily 50, so not the best. We're going to trade it short again, expecting this momentum to continue. So for the pip snatcher to play out, it needs to pull back through the daily 50, through our pivot, and then back down through the daily 50 again to our profit target. So not the best. There's quite a few pounds on, so I would pick the best one. They're all looking to set up reasonably similar because they're all very bullish on the pound with a bit of a pullback for our entry. So pound Aussie, again we're breaking through the daily 50. What's now to continue? This time the daily 50, which is a green line, lines up perfectly with the daily pivot, so that's good. We need to wait for the 1-hour 50 to catch up, which it will do in the next 8 hours or so. Pound Aussie can be any time of day, but I imagine all the pound pairs will, if they do pull back to trigger in, they'll all be about the same time, probably in about 8-9 hours time. Plenty of time for us to pull back. It's going to pull back, and the 1-hour 50 will catch up. So that's a possibility for a pip snatcher. Again, bear in mind we could be going hyper trade, so you could be pushing up to these highs of a 4-to-1 profit target. And of course, the pip snatcher is always a 1-to-1. Pound CAD. So this again is breaking through the daily 50 and the daily 20, wanting that to continue long. And the pullback here will give us a nice little pip snatcher. 150's got a fair bit of catching up to do. See how that one works out. How it looks in a few hours' time. But that looks okay. Pound yen. This one looks a bit better because we've cleared the daily 50 and we're now on a run. So if we're looking at this as a wave 3, this is the wave 1, 2, 3. You know, wave 3, do we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's not very clear, is it? Anyway, plenty of potential there to go long. The yen is not doing very much at the moment. So again, pip snatcher or hyper trade, and the 1 hour 50 catching up towards the pivot and the entry in the next hours or so. All right, pound Kiwi. Last of the pounds, it looks like. Very bullish. Kiwi's got a bit of weakness. So we've broken out of this really long consolidation. We're now up to here, which is kind of breaking pretty much all these highs up to ones back here. That's pretty bullish. That momentum continues. Looking again for a pip snatcher. 1 hour 50 to catch up. That looks okay if it pulls back in the next 6, 7, 8 hours. And again, consider the hybrid trade because that could be a nice way to go. So that looks good. And of course, all of the pounds need the pound to pull back first for our entry, which is what we're hoping for. Dollar CAD. Consolidation broken above the daily 50, pulled back to the daily 50, we tested it and then bounced off bullishly yesterday. Put a bit clear on the 1 hour. You can see the 1 hour, the daily 50s is green line. So broken, rejected it, broken through it, come back through, pretty much retested it. Now looking to go long. And the best option here, I think, is a pip snatcher again, or you could consider the hybrid trade. Pip snatcher to highs, or hybrid trade, push the profit target a bit further. And one last one that may set up a little bit later is Kiwi Swiss. Oh, we looked at this one yesterday, didn't we? It's been kind of sinking. I've looked at this level, it's pretty strong. If you go back, it's a very strong level, and it's rejected here with the daily 50. Kind of broke through it there a bit, but it's quite a good level. And if we look at the 1 hour chart, you see this strong trend line was broken and we tested yesterday. Hasn't broken through the 1 hour 50 yet, so we need that to happen. We need to break up through the 1 hour 50, pull back, retest it, and then give us a long trade back to the day 20. So that's something that might set up later today because it's not far away from breaking the 1 hour 50. So keep an eye on that one. So there's quite a few things there. Keep an eye on a lot of pip snatches. If that's your game, then you're going to be crossing your fingers that the pound pulls back. A few others on there as well. So I wish you all the best in the markets. Have a great day on Wednesday. If you're not a member of ProTrader, go to scottprotrader.com and sign up for some free training, education, and what this is all about. I will catch up with you tomorrow. I wish you all the best. I'll see you then. Take care.